Welcome to the channel, folks. Today we're going to be making 2 copper Damascus bowie knives. We're going to start by layering up 35 layers of high carbon steel and pure copper. We've got it all welded up, now we're going to get it in the forge. The forge is running at about 1800 degrees so we don't melt out the copper. Now we're going to squish this with 30 tons of pressure to compress the layers. What we're making here is just the cladding for the knife. We're going to be using some other high carbon steel for the cutting edge. Now I'm switching to drawing dies. These are rounded and they're more aggressive and push the steel out in the lengthwise direction. The hydraulic press is great to bring it down from a big stack, but when it starts getting thin, we want to switch tools to the rolling mill, and that's what I'm prepping for here. The rolling mill is excellent at getting things thin with a constant thickness. It also only adds length, it never widens the billet.
So here's the restack. The middle and the outside are just 1080, so those will be black. And now you see the copper and 1084 that I just did. It's almost indistinguishable. The layers of copper are so thin. But there's extra copper between them, and I think this band is going to look really cool.
Just like before, we're going to compress these and make the layers stick together. We're going to be drawing this out to about 3/8 of an inch in thickness, and then we're going to put some pattern into it. For the pattern in this one, I'm going to be using these ring dies, and I'm going to be putting overlapping rings, and I just think that looks really cool in the finished product. Lastly, I'm going to flatten it out and we should be done the forging portion of this build.
So I got this all forged out. The pits here were a little deeper than I wanted, but we got some thickness here, so I think we're going to do okay. Now we're going to make 2 knives out of this, but we're going to start with the bowie. So here's the bowie knife after profiling. You can really see the copper come out already. Still some kind of deep ring marks on this side, but it's also really thick right now. But didn't feel like I wanted to take all this out before heat treat. I got a bunch of surface grinding to do. So what I'm going to do now is put the bevels in and then get right to heat treat.
Now it's time to quench these knives in oil, and that'll make them hard. Using this 10-inch wheel, now I'm going to grind the false edge on the top of each knife.
So I've got the grinding all done on these 2. I've even test etched this first one, and I am so thrilled with how it's come out. I love the jaggedy lines showing the copper, and just all the copper lines up here. Just really, really cool. And here is the small one. Now it's time to hand sand these, and then I'm going to be taking them to Minnesota for the Midwest Knife Makers Guild Hammer-In. And this one is going to be the one that I leave there for them to raffle off, and this one I'll be selling on my website. So after I sand these, the next part of this video is going to be down in Minnesota.
Now I'm off to the Midwest Knife Makers Guild Hammer-In. This is held in Mankato, Minnesota at the USA Knife Makers location. I was invited to be the guest presenter at the Hammer-In. I started with a presentation on copper damascus, followed by a presentation on guard fitting, and then handle sculpting. This was a really fun event, and they were excellent hosts. Now I'm off to North Star Forge, which is about an hour away from Mankato. Here I'll be teaching the full guard and handle class to this group of guys. North Star Forge is owned and operated by Jason Krause, who's an ABS journeyman like me, and we are actually in the same class. This was actually my first experience teaching a full class at another shop. These guys did great, and it was such a good time. It was a great 4-day trip. Now I'm back to my home forge to finish off this knife.
So I'm back from the Midwest, and I'm ready to finish off this knife. The smaller one I left with them to raffle off at their knife show coming up in a couple of weeks. So at the Hammer-In and at North Star Forge, I demoed fitting the guard and sculpting it, and then also fitting the handle and sculpting that. So I've got just a little bit of sanding on this to do, and then a bit of sanding on the blade, and we'll be ready for fit up. This wood actually has pretty sizable pores in it, so I'm going to do a CA glue finish just to fill the pores, and then I'm going to sand it all clean. That should keep any buffing compound or anything else out of the pores in the wood. Man, it sure looks good when you do that. So we've got this all covered. You want to make sure you don't see any little pores. You shouldn't see like the depth of any of the pores in here. And now we're going to sand it clean. There's the handle material after being sanded to 3000. I love it. Alright, I'm ready to etch this blade. I don't actually need to use any acid because there's no 15N20, so this one is just going into coffee. I've got a bubbler on just so that it breaks the surface for a little while the knife goes in. And now it'll stay in there for a couple hours. I'm thrilled how that turned out. Gonna do the glue up and you guys will see it in the glamour shots.